Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you tonight? My name is David Franzine, and I am here. It is 8 o'clock, so we're going to get started with talking a little bit about some goal setting and some online training for fellow online marketers. This is, as you can see, I am back home now. I just had my company, my online company's 3-day annual convention in Orlando. It was this year, so that made it convenient for me. It was down at the Orlando World Center Marriott down there by Disney. So if you've seen any of my lives the last couple of days or watched the recording, you know that's where I was. I was pumped up. I was full of energy and excitement because the event was off the chain, man. It was just incredible, incredible speakers and knowledge that was poured into us. So I was so glad I decided to attend the event. But now I'm back home and I got to be a little careful that I don't have a letdown now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. First, I'm going to talk about tonight's subject. To introduce myself, my name is David Franzine. I am an online marketer in my part-time. Full-time, I still work Universal Studios as a team member there. 25 years I was a performer. The last 5 years I work in security. I started looking online to make some income a couple of years ago. Actually, a few years ago, I dabbled in a little bit, but I always would start something and then quit and just never stuck with it with consistent effort. So I don't really count those attempts too much. But the reason I did that is because I realized that I'd like to retire someday. I'm in my late 50s now, and I want to retire from Universal someday, and we'll all be able to get Social Security. I don't have any other pensions except my 401k. So I figured, I might be all right in retirement if I live frugally. But the thing is, I want to know more than that I'll be all right. I want to know that for sure I'm going to be okay financially. So I started online a couple of years ago, dabbling. I just really got serious about 3 months ago in the current online company I'm with. I've been in about 3 months now, and because I've taken a new approach to it, I've treated it more like a business this time. I put in the consistent time and the consistent effort on a daily basis. I've seen results. Not huge financial gains so far, but I am building a team and we're growing. And each day, one of my favorite sayings is each and every day, my business is growing stronger in every way. And it really is. And attending the event this past weekend is just an indication of that, of how much I've grown, how my business has grown. And so I'm going to keep on going. So anyway, without further ado, tonight's subject is, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? So many times I hear these excuses from people, and it's almost to the point of annoying, to be quite honest with you. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight. I think that's why I came up with the topic, is because here lately I've heard some excuses from members on my team, people that are maybe interested in joining the business, because everybody seems to want something more. They want to achieve a higher level. They want to be more successful in their life, in their financial goals, or whatever goals they may have set for themselves. They want these things, they desire these things. But when it comes down to it, there's a few reasons why they don't ever achieve those things. One of the reasons I talked about in one of my other trainings, and you could go back and look at that. Actually, I don't know if you can go back and look at it, because I think that was the first live I ever did. I'm on day 15 of my 21-day Facebook challenge live. And I think that was day one. And I think that one might have disappeared into the internet abyss. So I'm going to have to redo that one. It's a subject I'm pretty well versed in and knowledgeable of. So it wouldn't be hard for me to redo that one. But the reason is most people are just too comfortable, in their current lifestyle. So when things get a little bit harder, they realize they have to do something a little more to achieve their goals. They will find some kind of an excuse, and then they'll just go back to their sedentary lifestyle, continue playing the rat race, and they never really get anywhere. It's just kind of a vicious circle. They get excited maybe for a little bit, like I used to do, and they will pursue something for a little while. But then when they don't get the immediate results, they get discouraged. They don't want to overcome those challenges, so they just fall back into their comfortable lifestyle. Then what happens is 6 months later, they get re-inspired because they see a video or they read a book or something, or they see a movie or something will propel them to think, man, I think I deserve more. I think I want more to be happy in my life. So then again, they'll start something, but once it's not happening for them immediately, they quit, they go back to their comfortable lifestyle. They always come up with some sort of excuse. Some of the excuses I've heard recently are, I just don't have the time. Well, let me tell you a little something about that. I read a story about a woman that is a very successful online marketer now. And when she started her online business, she was working 12 hours a day in corporate America. She had a husband and 3 children. And you can imagine it was probably pretty hard for her to find the time to devote to pursuing an online marketing business. However, she found a way to do it. You know what she did? She would, I'm serious, this is a true story. She would work on her online business on her cell phone, her smartphone, whatever you want to call it, while she was on her bathroom breaks. So maybe she was taking a little longer in her bathroom breaks than she probably should have. I don't know. But so she would probably be in there on the commode and be going down her list of contacts, contacting people, reaching out to people, messaging people. And she said, that's the only way I could do it because I was so busy at work. I would work on it a little bit on my lunch, but then also I had to do it on my bathroom breaks. And when she would get home, she would be busy with her husband and children. So that's how she did it. And she built a 6-figure online business doing that. So if she could do it, I think you can do it. I have a mentor right now who is married, has a couple kids, young kids, like under the age of 6 years old. She's unapologetic about it. She still works her business. She does live videos all the time. Her kids will jump in on the video and she doesn't apologize about it. That's just her way of life. That's her kids. That's her first priority. But she continues to grow her business and it grows stronger every day. So she doesn't use excuses. And she had a great saying, sorry, my nose is itching a little bit here. She had a great saying. She says, David, because I was making some excuses when I first started studying under her a couple months ago. And she said, when excuses stop, success starts. When excuses stop, success starts. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Another thing I hear excuse of with people is they don't have the money. Okay, so to start an online business, sometimes it does require a little bit of upfront money. In my opportunity, you can actually join for free. But the thing is, we do recommend early on when you're a member, you do purchase some of the product. It's like 100, 150 bucks. And that's just so you can sample the product, so you can be a product of the product, so you can be an example for when you bring other people into your team, because ultimately to make money, you have to purchase product. So guys, I'm just going to take a quick drink of water here. I'm a little parched. I think it was all the screaming and yelling I was doing over the 2 or 3 days at the convention. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the money excuse. So people will say, well, because I'll recommend, I say, okay, you can start for free, but I do recommend you purchase some product because, you know, you want to take this seriously as a business, and any business that you will get into. I mean, think if you were in the brick and mortar world and you wanted to start a traditional business, it would cost you $100,000 or more sometimes to start one of those businesses. So when people scoff at spending $100 and $150 for an online business, which gives them the potential to make 6 figures, you know, within the next year or two, I just don't understand. Go back to the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you've read that, or if you haven't, I would recommend reading it, by Robert Kiyosaki. And so his poor dad was his biological father, and then his rich dad was a friend of his father. And so he took most of his valuable lessons from the rich dad. And that's how Robert Kiyosaki became so successful. Well, one of the things that the poor dad used to say is whenever something would come up where they needed money for something, like the kids needed money for shoes or clothes or school supplies, he would always immediately say, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. You know, and I'm sure a lot of you growing up have heard that from your parents or elders that, you know, when you wanted something or desired something, I heard it so many times when I was growing up, we can't afford that. We're poor. We can't afford that. Well, in contrast to that, Richard Kiyosaki's rich dad, when he was approached with that same problem, the challenge of we don't have enough money or we need some money for something, his answer was, how can we afford that? If somebody said, we need to do this, we need to invest in this, we need to buy this, he wouldn't immediately say, oh, I can't afford that. His immediate response was, how can we afford that? And he would then find a way. Somehow the money would materialize. They would find a way to make it happen. So when people scoff at having to spend $100, $150 to start an online business, I don't know. I mean, I know some people are in financial hardship, and I know, especially in this trying economy we're in, that it can be difficult, you know, but if there is a will, there is a way. And if you desire something enough and you have the burning desire, the determination, and the passion to go after your dreams, you will find a way. Like I was talking to this guy the other day, and he was thinking about joining the business. And I said, well, if you come in, it would be good to buy some of the product. And his response was that he didn't have the money. But what hurt me was that he was so excited. Other than that, he said, I'm going to work very hard. I'm so determined. I want to change my life's pattern, my biological, you know, genealogy, the way this cycle has been with my family for years. I want to break through that. I want to get to the other side and make things happen. But when it came down to spending the $100, he said he didn't have it. There was no way he could afford it. And I just, you know, in rare cases, I would assume that's true. Maybe somebody just can't afford it. But in 90% of the cases, people can afford it. They find a way if they want it. If they want to make a way, they find a way, or they find a way to make a way, however you want to put it. So that would be my suggestion, is stop looking for excuses, because when you stop with the excuses, the success will start. So another thing I want to talk about tonight real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up, is surround yourself with positive, like-minded people. I did a training the other day about this, how you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. And at my convention this weekend, I heard somebody actually put it this way. He said, whichever 5 people you hang around with the most, you'll become the 6th. So if you're hanging around people that have a broke mentality, a scarcity mentality, and there's 5 of them, you'll be the 6th. However, if you hang around people that have prosperity on their minds, they have abundance, they think in abundance and overflow and prosperity, and there's 5, you'll be the 6th. So keep that in mind. And so going into that, at my event this weekend, a guy wrote on a post earlier today, I read it, and I don't think I could quote it back word for word, but I'm going to give you the general message. He said, this weekend, we were around a group of individuals at an event where we were uplifted and supported and taken to a higher level. He said, be careful, because there was a change in us. Somehow, some way, there was a change in us that occurred at this event. However, there wasn't a change in the world. So when you go back to the world and you go back to the norm, he said, be very careful that you don't get pulled back down to the level that the world is in and have it dictate who you are or what you can be. So I thought that was somewhat profound. So I just wanted to share that, because that goes along with what I was talking about surrounding yourself, being plugged in to the right groups, the right supportive elements in your life. And so this past weekend, it was amazing. We were elevated to such a high level. And, already today, I feel a little bit of a letdown because I've had that energy for the last 3 days. And now I have to be careful to not let the world pull me back down to mediocrity, to the average, to the place I want to rise above. So I have to be very careful not to do that. And I would encourage you to do the same. And if you feel you need to step up your game, then it's time to do it. Stop playing small. Everybody, I've realized this lately, everybody should have a goal or some desire that keeps you awake at night, like I was talking about the other day on my live, something that makes it to where you can't sleep, something that excites you. And for many years, I didn't have that. I didn't try to rise above mediocrity. I didn't try to go to a different level. I just was status quo, in that comfortable lifestyle. And, people would say, what's new and exciting in your life, David? And I would say, nothing. Nothing's new and exciting. And that sucks. And now that I'm living this new life that I'm living and going after some goals, trying to attain a higher level of living and freedom, it's just so exciting. And so I would just encourage every one of you to find something that gets you psyched. Stop playing small. It's time to play big. It's time to step up your game and do it. So whatever it might be, whether it's an online business to increase your income so you can have a more comfortable retirement, which is what my goal is, or if it be some other inspiration to make the world a better place, to give back to your community, to give back to the world. And if you make money, a lot of money, you can give back to the world. So keep that in mind. So whatever it is that takes you to get inspired, do that. Quit making excuses. Quit making fucking excuses. And I apologize for my language if anybody's offended by that. But sometimes you got to curse a little bit to get the attention of people. So stop making the damn excuses. Get out there and make it happen. David Franzine, have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.